To our tech feature, or should I say our AI feature, with our favorite AI enthusiast and geek, Lebohang Phokela. Pokes, what you got for us this morning? You say the hidden cost of AI convenience. You've spoken to me about this. Off air, we've spoken about the kind of investment that you have had to make just for this feature.
Yeah, TT. So I know that you're back at school today, so let me just school you about a couple of things regarding the world of artificial intelligence. And I know that this segment is meant to be the positive side of AI and how we can use these platforms to make our lives easier, right? But the one thing that we hardly ever factor in outside the loss of jobs is the amount of energy that is actually being utilized by these data centers that are giving us these outputs of AI. So these AI companies are getting a lot of investment to actually build these data centers around the world. And we are in South Africa. We've had problems with electricity for years on years. But I was reading a story, I think about a month ago, about proposed plans to bring some of these data centers to South Africa. And I was wondering to myself, how is this going to play out, right? Because I've seen a couple of stories come out of locations where these data centers are built. A story that I read from community members in Mexico who are actually crying, saying that they are affected because these data centers that are very close to their neighborhoods are consuming so much energy and they're consuming so much water. And that is the trade-off that we currently get to experience with this AI boom that was seeing. Some reports are mentioning that a standard AI data center can consume as much as 100,000 households. Yes, one data center. That is one data center. So you can only imagine how this is going to impact some of the people that are living with these power cuts and water cuts. And you know what happens in those situations? The AI companies normally have the backup. So the people that are always left in the dark are the communities. So that is the trade-off, right? So let me just actually take this time to make you understand how when you prompt an AI, what actually happens. So when you prompt the AI, the magic happens in the data centers where your message is actually broken down into chunks. I've said that the AI is actually trained in predicting the next word, but that's also how it receives messages. It doesn't take it as a one full sentence, so it's broken down into chunks. The message loads the machine actually loads up the context, the history, to check if they can respond to you better. There are mathematical equations that are happening, running and predicting the next word to put together your output, and then you get your output, right? So there's a lot of processing that's happening in the background.
So this is why we should avoid this thing of like, hi ChatGPT.
You get what I mean? Just get to the point and start speaking to the artificial intelligence. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. But there are good news, though, on the upside that are looking to solve for this problem. I remember reading an article last year that Google announcing that they're looking into building data centers in space in a project that they call Project Suncatcher. There are also some AI companies are also looking to build what is called UDCs. So those are underwater data centers that will because if it's underwater, the cooling system is already there. It's automatic, right? They're also exploring other ways like direct chip cooling, and which essentially just places liquid plates that absorb heat from the chips directly instead of running high energy consuming air conditioning in these data centers. That's leading to all these electricity cuts as well as water cuts in some of these communities. It actually, the reason why I wanted to speak about this is because it looks like in the next coming few years, there will be a lot of investment. And we know in South Africa, we love our investment. And sometimes we won't even ask what the trade-off is. There'll be a lot of investment with these data centers that will be mushrooming around the country.
Are we primed for that? I mean, you say there'll be mushrooming around the country, but how often do we hear government talk about how we're a water scarce country and all of that? Are there real opportunities for South Africa to host these data centers?
Yeah, there are already some that are in the pipeline already. Yeah, there are a few in the Western Cape that are in the pipeline. There's one that I read about that will be in Johannesburg as well. So there are talks. It looks like there are talks that are happening in the background to make sure. I know Microsoft, I think, bought a bit of land that is primed to like build up some of these data centers. So in the next few years, as a country that is water scarce, as a country that has had challenges with electricity, this is very, very concerning. Although there are strides that are made towards finding alternative ways to try and move away from consuming a lot of energy from these big companies. Back to your point, TT, before you think of turning yourself into a Popeye, I know you're bored. I know you're bored, maybe, right? You're sitting at home and there's nothing that you're doing. Before you prompt ChatGPT, before you prompt Gemini as a Popeye, just think about some of these trade-offs. That there's someone in Mexico who might just experience load shedding because TT in Johannesburg wanted to look like a Popeye to post on his status.
So here's another example of where we have to appeal to people's better nature or people's sense. You know, we always talk about people who must use water sparingly. We must save electricity and all of that kind of stuff. So here again, we're going to be asking people to make better choices.
Yeah. And the trade-off is to ensure that these big corporates are making money. Right? So the people, it's going to be a people problem that profits all these big companies. So imagine now we're hearing a spokesperson from Eskom that's coming through and saying and announcing load shedding, saying that the power trip because too many people wanted to see how they would look as a Popeye.
Let's not do that. Hi, ChatGPT.
You know what I mean? If you don't have to use it, please don't use it.
Well, that's a fascinating take, actually, on the world of AI. Because I was also thinking about what the angle I thought you were taking on this one was actually about the cost to you, as you know, when I say you, I mean just anyone who uses these various AI platforms. Because the subscriptions, depending on the kind of functionality you want, can be quite prohibitive.
We'll get to that, but it's also a cost. The electricity one is still a cost to your life.
One. It's probably a bigger one than just the financial cost to individuals. Lebohang.co.za is where you'll find all the information from this particular insert and all that we've been chatting about. The hidden cost of AI convenience, you can check it up. It'll be up on the website, lebohang.co.za. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, TT.